What's up?
What's up guys, welcome to another video. So in this video I'm going to be going over how to deal with Spawn's third variation. So of course in this video I'm going to go over how to deal with all the things Spawn has in his third variation, but I'm also going to go over some things that Spawn has in his base kit that's in this variation, which will help you fight Spawn's other variations as well. Now the first thing I want to talk about is his command grab. Now his command grab seems intimidating. It goes really far, like half screen, it catches you, it can tick off anything, like any normal it does tick off because of how slow it is. But the thing with this command grab is, if you duck, it will not hit you, even if you're duck blocking. So look, I'm going to put him on stance hold, have him on duck, and you're going to see it completely whiffs. So from pretty much all his strings, except the one that has an overhead, you do not have to worry about this tick throw. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter that this command grab ticks off all his strings because you can just duck it. Like look, I'm going to just show you. You can duck it, you can duck it, you can duck it. It doesn't matter. The only one you have to respect is the overhead, because the overhead forces you to block high, and then if you're blocking high, then you're vulnerable to the command grab. So the next move I want to talk about that Spawn has in this variation is this move right here. It's so freaking good. You can zone with it. It can duck under projectiles, and up close it's a double low, and if you enhance it, it's safe. So this gives Spawn really good pressure and mix-ups. He can make all his strings pretty much safe. So this gives him mix-ups from his overhead string, because he can go into the string to the overhead or string into the double low, and the low is safe. And he can also do down poke into this move. So it's kind of like Johnny Cage, when Johnny Cage can do down one rising star. So he would get away with like doing 3 down ones in a row because you're waiting for rising star. Well, they nerfed him and then they just gave it to Spawn, because now he has this off all his pokes. Super safe, -7, no flawless block gap, and you're so far away. You're right where Spawn wants you to be, because Spawn's strength is his neutral, his far-reaching attacks with no hurt box. So that move is super strong. It may need to be nerfed in the future, kind of like how Johnny Cage's was, but it's too early to tell. So one thing to note with this move, it is unsafe if he does it by itself. It doesn't look it because of the pushback, but he's -32, so he has to enhance it. And if he does not enhance it, it's a guaranteed punish. Okay, and before I get to the good stuff, I have one more move to talk about, and that's his stance right here. This move is decent, but it's only really good for a combo ender in my opinion, and maybe some different kind of mix-ups. So don't worry about this move too much, because there's no mix-up to it. If he just lets it rip like that, it's -18. He can hold it. He goes low. He's -14. Now has good pushback. Not all characters can punish it. Jackie can punish it with a dash punch, and even if you can't punish it, you can still do a micro dash into a mid or whatever and just jail Spawn. He's -14, so he should not have enough time to backdash or anything like that. And he can cancel this move, but the cancel is so bad. Like no matter how he does it, he's still like super minus. -21, he does it off his plus frame strings. -15, he does down 1 into it. -33. That cancel is really bad. You can pretty much just react to it. And if you ever see Spawn going to the stance, just sit there, chill. Let him do the low and punish it. Let him do this move. He's -18 and punish it. There's no mix-up to it. He can't dash out of this move. All he can do is cancel it. Now in this variation, Spawn has a pretty scary mix-up with his back 1 string, because this string leads to a lot of different things you have to worry about. You have to worry about the overhead, which leads to a full combo. You have to worry about the safe low attack. You have to worry about this move, which is actually a delayed low if you think about it, because you see the startup of that move is 28 frames. So that means that comes after the overhead. So you have to alter your fuzzy to deal with that. And this string gives you the threat of the command grab, because you're forced to block high for the overhead. That means you're vulnerable to the command grab, so you have 4 different things you're worried about. But there's actually a way you can fuzzy all 4 options, deal with all 4 options, and punish Spawn for everything he does, except for punishing the safe low for obvious reasons, because you know, it's safe. So I'm going to show you how to do it, but let me explain to you how it works. So the low comes out in 14 frames. So after this, the low is going to come first, so you block low first. Then next comes the overhead, because if you look, the startup of the overhead is 21 frames. So you're like, okay, you have a 7 frame fuzzy. Block low, then block overhead. Now how fast does the command grab come out? The command grab comes out in 26 frames. So this is what you do. You block low, you block high for the overhead, and at the same moment the overhead would hit you, then you duck like the next frame basically. So you block low, high, low. And for the low special move, even though this is a double low, there's a delay in that time. And that delay gives you enough time to block low, block the overhead, and then duck right away. You can block the second part of the double low, and you duck the command grab. And when it comes to the delayed low with this move, you don't gotta worry about that. That comes out in 28 frames, and the command grab comes out in 26. You are already ducking the command grab before the 26 frame command grab would even hit you. So if you're ducking within 26 frames, that means you're going to be able to block an even slower move at 28 frames. Now that all seems hard to do all at once, but there are steps in how you can practice it. First, this is what you want to practice. You're going to practice just fuzzying the low and then fuzzying the overhead. So once you get used to doing that, it's going to help you with the other mix-ups, with the command grab and stuff like that. Because you already have to block low, overhead, low, because this is a double low anyway. So that's going to help you duck the command grab. So what you want to practice next is you have Spawn do the overhead and then have Spawn do the command grab. So once you get good at that, then you can practice putting it all together and then getting used to blocking all the things. And then once you're good at blocking, dodging the command grab and everything, then you can actually start practicing punishing the opponent for doing all those things. So once you master that and take away all of Spawn's options off his back one, all he can do is a safe projectile enhance, which gives him good spacing, or he can go into the safe low. Now I'm not gonna lie, that is hard to do. It actually took me a few tries before I can actually record a good sequence of me actually doing it correctly. But if you put the time in and you practice, you can beat his mix-ups. But of course, if you are doing all the fuzzies, you are vulnerable to the mix-up where he can like stagger you. He can actually get some cancels out and get throws in and whatnot. So you are vulnerable to that, but at least you can stop all of his mix-ups. So that's about it for Spawn specific things in his third variation, but now I'm going to go over like how you deal with people who enhance this move in pressure and how to deal with like his plus frames. Now when you're fighting Spawn, it's important to know which strings jail into this projectile, because the initial hit is a high, and off some strings you're able to duck the initial high and then punish Spawn before the second hit comes out, or maybe you're able to flawless block the second hit because there's a gap and then still punish Spawn. So the projectile, it jails off his 1-1, it jails off his 2-4, and it also jails off his dial-in string here. But it does not jail off any variation of 4-2, like this will not jail whatsoever, this will not jail. His back one does jail though. And his 3-4 does not jail like from far, but up close, apparently it does jail. So on strings where it does not jail, you could punish it like this. So the next thing I want to talk about is actually very important to the entire mechanics of MK11, and it has to do with this particular move right here, his 1-1. So that 1-1, he is +2, and he puts you at a certain spacing where there's a lot of different things that both players can do. So with Spawn, after his 1-1 being only +2, he can't really do that much off it. His fastest move that he can do that's not a high is his forward 4, is 12 frames. His back 1 is 13, and his forward 2 is 16. So his mids are too slow to really stop Jackie from just doing a down 1. So the way you can think about it frame data wise, let's say your move comes out in 13 frames, you're +2, so then you subtract it by 2 and it comes out at 11 frames. Even if you do that with his fastest move, which is 12 frames, then you say, okay, it comes out at 10 frames, Jackie's down 1 is 7 frames, and she even has a 9 frame mid that would beat out Spawn. So if Spawn pressures you with 1-1, on paper, the only thing he can do is down 1 to jail you. But that's not entirely true. Because of the spacing he leaves you at, there's so many different options in mind games that's actually very important to be aware of. And like I said before, this applies to every character in MK11, because every character puts you in a situation like this. When you're -3 to +3 at this spacing right here, or just slightly further, you're in a situation in which some pros refer it to an Abare situation. So you're like, coach, What the hell is this made up word, barre situation? What is that? Well, let me show you, my friends. Very important. So, off this, I said before, the only thing Spawn can do is jail you with down 1. That ain't true. If he reads that the Jackie player just likes to mash down 1 to disrespect him, he doesn't have to settle for a down 1. He can backdash and do this mid right here. He's in a spacing in which he can avoid Jackie's down 1 and her forward 3. So let me show you an example. Okay, so I have Jackie to do reverse hold down 1. So I'm going to try doing forward 2, I get stuffed. I try doing my mids normally, I get stuffed. But okay, that's not a big deal. I know he's going to poke, bam, punish. I got a full combo because I'm at a spacing to where I can do a miniature backdash. But then there's another mind game on top of that. If you as a Jackie player, you make the read that the Spawn player thinks you're going to do a counter poke, she could just back up. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So I'm going to have the Spawn do the same thing just to show you. I record this, I try to poke, okay, I get punished. So here's what you can do instead if you read that. You just back up, bam, whiff punish. But then there's another mind game on top of it. If the Spawn player reads that you're just going to try to back up and maybe try to whiff punish something, he can just go on ahead and do his slow mid because he knows you're not going to poke, because he knows you're scared of being poke baited, so he can just advance on you anyway. So if you ever hear anybody refer to like an Abare situation, that's what it is. A situation where you're either -3 to +2 or 3, I'd say, at this spacing. Because even Spawn has it off his other strings. He can do this, puts himself, he's at -4, but still, he's out of poke range and he's in back 1 range. So when you're in situations like that, you're going to want to know your options for your character. Like I just showed you Jackie's options. If you think, okay, well, Spawn's going to just advance on you and do a mid, you just down poke, do your forward 4, 9 frame mid, take back your turn, get a full combo. If you think Spawn's going to poke bait you, you just back up. He might whiff something. Maybe he won't commit to the overhead like that. But if you back up and he tries to poke bait you, maybe you can't punish him, but at least you'll be safe and you're out of the situation. It really comes down to a read. So one thing I forgot to mention about his command grab, yes, if he hits you with it, he can turn invisible, and then that's when you're at risk for the crushing blow. But all you have to do to make Spawn visible again is just to make him block something. You don't have to hit him, he just has to block something. So you have two options. You can either duck and just not get hit by the command grab, but then of course you're vulnerable to getting hit by the overhead because you can't see him. I would say just try to back up and throw some projectiles and force him to block something. Or another thing you can do, you can kind of see where Spawn is. Like if you see the white, that's his footsteps. You see the screen go up like that, you know he's jumping. So in a sense, you can kind of tell where he is, even though you can't see him at all. So that's about it for Spawn. Now this variation of Spawn is still very good. I mean, even though you can pretty much stop this mix-up, it is very hard to do. You are bound to mess up in a pressure situation, but at least know that you can deal with that. But this is really strong right here. That's like down 1 setups for days, down 1 throws. That's very strong. Like they took it away from Johnny and gave it to Spawn. I mean, the first time they did it, they took it away from Cassie, then they gave it to Johnny, now they gave it to Spawn. So I don't know what they're doing with moves like that, but anyway. So I hope this helped, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Follow me on Twitch, and I'll see you guys next time.